Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Bizarre and the Unknown. Um, I have a special guest coming on, but we're having an issue with their mic, so we're trying to get that working. So I'll go ahead and get a couple things plugged out of the way real quick while we're waiting on that. Um, so I did a interview with Linda Eastburn, 1 o'clock today. I'm not sure when that's going to be posted. I haven't looked yet. I've been busier than a hiccup. I'm down to just a little over two pages left, and I'll be done with that book. I've done some working on it, along with getting some videos set up of the from my game cams, but for some reason that's not downloading, so I'm going to try that again later. Um, but I added a God's Country song to this set of pictures from my game cams. So as soon as I get that done, I'll get that uploaded. I don't know, Roxanne, who could it be? Um, so I'm working on that. Well, I've been spending most of my time since I got off with Linda's, gathering up game cam footage, getting everything edited, getting everything added, and then working on my book, which I just started page 7. So I've got page 7 and 8, and I'll be done. So I may work on that tonight, or I may work on it tomorrow. Depends on how I feel after the live. But we'll go from there. And if you guys hear the goats, sorry, I've got a window open with the box fan in it, blowing hot air out of this room to try to keep it cooled down. And then they're outside the window doing their little hoo-ha thing. So, but yes, so I've got that going on today. So keep an eye on Linda Eastburn's YouTube channel for the interview. Sounds like she's going to be wanting me to come back on and do another interview. It was pretty fun. We had a great conversation today about the stuff that's been going on my property since we done the documentary of Byways of Bigfoot. So that was fun. Outside of that, so how's everybody else doing today? Besides people's animals acting up. I'm getting a kick out of your guys' chats in here. All right. So without further ado, let's see if this is working. And so our special guest to help us talk about the Fae today is the one, the only, the cryptid huntress, Miss Jessica Jones. Hey, Jessica.
Hey, I hope this microphone's working. Can you hear me?
Man, I still can't hear you.
Really?
What is going on with this? Can y'all hear her in the chat?
Yeah.
Because I can't hear.
This is the second device that I have gone to try to get some sound. Let's see.
You guys can hear her. I just can't hear her.
Oh, they can hear me?
Interesting. I do not know why it's doing that.
Well, I could go back to my other device.
Okay. There is something going on with my end.
Hey, everybody. Okay.
No, I don't want to do that. I'm trying to find a little hoo-ha here that makes me fix this. I'll go ahead and let you kind of talk a little bit about yourself real quick, Jessica, while I'm looking for this little thing to fix this.
Well, I can do that. I'm on my earbud microphone right now. Okay, so what's up, y'all? It's Jessica. I'm the Cryptid Huntress. And I had a really fun show with Eric last night over on my channel, the Cryptid Huntress. We talked, what did we talk about? Oh, Viking werewolves last night. And that was a lot of fun. Eric knows a lot about Viking werewolves and stuff. So, yeah, we had a really good time. Oops. Got my soda drink. My tea right there. Got my straw in the pitcher. But yeah, so I am the Cryptid Huntress. I am a longtime Bigfoot field researcher. And I do boots on the ground field research pertaining to all things paranormal and supernatural, all the cryptids out there. I do dogman hunts and all sorts of dangerous stuff with my teams. So, yeah. And today we're here to talk about fairies. And I actually did just talk about fairies last week. We talked about tree nymphs on my channel with Dennis Carroll, actually. We talked about tree nymphs and...
So I want to do this a different way.
I think he still can't hear
Until
me.
I can get this figured out.
Okay. But yeah, we talked about nature spirits and elementals and all that good stuff. And it was a good time. It was a really good time. I don't know a whole lot about fairies, y'all,
One
by the way.
second, guys. I got to try to work around this.
Eric doesn't know this, but I don't know a whole lot about fairies. Okay? Don't tell him. I'm just kidding.
Guys, I got to try to work around this.
Eric doesn't know this, but I don't know a whole lot about fairies.
Uh-oh.
Don't tell him.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Guys, I got to try to work around this. Eric doesn't know this, but I don't know a whole lot about fairies. Don't tell him. Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, we'll be learning something new here. I have no idea what's going on with my damn hoo-ha.
Do you may have your mute button pushed. Check your mute button.
I'm sorry, I'm still trying to figure this out. I have no idea what's going on. I don't think so.
Check your mute button.
I'm sorry, I'm still trying to figure this out. I have no idea what's going on. I got the volume turned up.
Hey, William.
Oh. Found it. Figured it out.
Can you hear me now?
I hear you now. I figured it out, by golly, George.
I mean, I could go back to my other device and not. I mean, does my microphone sound okay?
Yeah, it sounds good. You can switch back if you want to. Now that
That's fine.
for some reason in the settings, it had you as me being on headphones and not speaker. I don't know why the heck it did that. That's about as aggravating as a wart on the butt cheek. I mean, it just, my God. Yeah. All right. So now we're kicking her off, man. Yeah, if you want to kick back on and see if that one works on your mic, man, you can do that. That's not the deal. I can go ahead and get started.
Okay.
Yeah, she did, but.
You know what? I'm not gonna switch devices now. We'll just keep it like this.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
That'd be too much work.
So we're gonna start off with our first little critter. So if y'all recall last week, I tried to do this and I had a crap ton of daggone issues. My audio, my internet, everything was crappy. So we're gonna kick her off again today. So the first one we're gonna talk about again is this little doodad right here. That little thing is kind of messing me up. It's a daggone leprechaun. These things, a lot of people think about leprechauns. They think, no, actually, it started before then. William. It really did. I was having issues before we even started the channel or the show. But these things, people think of leprechauns. They think of Lucky Charms. These things ain't friendly. They ain't kind. They ain't gonna, let you chase them so you can catch their pot of mushrooms or whatever else they got. It just ain't how they are. So they're cunning little critters. They're known to take up residence in old castles, old churches, and stuff like that. There's reports of them taking residence up in holes, like under trees or something. So they're known to be very good musicians. They love music, love playing music. They usually running around really fast, so they're constantly repairing their shoes. They always keep a little hammer on them where they're constantly fixing their shoes or fixing their aprons. And this is the time when it's said it's most easiest to catch them is when they're fixing their shoes. The fact that they travel so fast and so much is why they're constantly doing this. But also, they have been known to use that as a diversion to trick humans so that they would capture or do bad stuff to humans. Now, they're known as tricksters. They're most active during St. Patty's Day, but in all honesty, they're active any time of the year.
They're even active in Mobile. Have you ever heard of the leprechaun of Mobile, Alabama? Oh, you got to look that up. I should have sent you a link beforehand. So back, I don't know if it was the 90s. It might have been the 1990s or the early 2000s. There was a pretty infamous leprechaun sighting by a whole bunch of people out of Mobile. I think it was Mobile. And it was on the news and everything. And the sketch was hilarious. They even had an artist draw a sketch. or an eyewitness. It wasn't a good artist, okay, but it was. I mean, not. I'm not knocking the art, okay, but I'm just saying it was just very basic. It was really funny, and so yeah, check out the leprechaun. They said they were claiming there was a leprechaun in a tree, and then some people were like, well, no, it was it's just the shadows in the tree in the leaves, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they claimed there was one up there.
I actually seen a leprechaun once. I was at a
Really?
bar. Been doing a lot of drinking during St. Patty's Day. Yeah,
You
Betty's
saw
in
him
the
at the
bathroom.
bar? What?
I was drunker. I was drunker than a skunk, and I'm taking a wing ding and look over like holy crap! And there's this little midget guy dressed as a leprechaun. Oh man, it was great. How about him drinks the rest of the night, dude? I was like, that was awesome. We had fun. He's a pretty good guy. But he goes, yeah. He goes, I got to do this all the time. I was like, dude, you built for it. Why not? It was
Oh my
fun.
gosh! If I was little short in stature, I'd dress up like a leprechaun too. I think that'd be fun.
Heck yeah, I would. I can go that and an Oompa Loompa. I mean, I'd be having all sorts of
Yeah,
fun, man.
right.
Uh,
Your
yeah, and the
Halloween
funny thing
costume
is,
is easy.
go ahead. Sorry. Yeah. Oh, there's so much stuff you can do. Um, Now, a lot of people associate leprechauns with rainbows, and this is stemmed from people saying, "Oh, that's where they hide their pot of gold, so the rainbow marks where their pot of gold." There's not a whole lot into that, but there is some. So that's kind of hit and miss if that's actually accurate or not. Um, they're referred to as fairy bankers. So because they love really shiny stuff. So they're known as the bankers of the fairy world. So fairy bankers. Um, I'm trying to skim over my notes real quick. I love alcohol, tobacco. So one of the traditions that they do in Ireland to keep a leprechaun from messing with their home is they'll leave out like dairy, tobacco, bread, alcohol. This will help mitigate the activity in their home because they're known to play pranks and they're known to be mean. Now, I have seen some reports, which is typical amongst the fays and the fairies, of them stealing little kids. I have seen some reports on that, which if you study the Fae over in Ireland, that's a very common fear amongst them is the Fae coming and stealing, stealing little people, little kids. And I'm not talking about the changelings like we talked about in part one of this, but they're known to do this as well.
Yeah,
So,
that's scary. Changelings freak me out too. That's a scary thing to think of, especially being a mom and having a newborn at home too. And people and they
yeah.
say that when they change them out, like how would the parents not know? I mean, other than the shape
So
shifting or
when a Fae is born, most of your Fae is going to look very human. So it ain't until they grow up and get older when they start changing. So sometimes they'll have like magical powers or their looks will change. That is when they actually know, holy crap, my baby got swapped. So that is the ongoing theory of how the changelings got away from that. Well, nowadays with technology, there's so many cameras and so many of this other stuff. It's harder for changelings to come in and do that. See, a changeling will swap out its baby if it's sickly or not going to do no good. So they have a need for a human. Then they'll swap out their babies for human babies, and this is where you get this to come about. But with the modern technology, the counts of this happening is a lot lower than what it used to be.
when my son was born, the first day, I mean, right when I looked at him, he just looked like an old man. He did. He looked like an old man. He didn't have that baby look about him like most babies have. And I think that happens. It happens occasionally. Like you have a baby, it looks like an old person. I was like, oh, this kid just has an old soul. That's what I say. But and even the doctors, the nurses, everybody were like, man, this baby looks like a grown man. And so I could see that would be. I mean, because they say that the little beings that switch out for the human body, the human babies, the changelings.
Yep.
Sometimes it's like old little fairies and stuff. It's like old men, old women. But I don't know how you wouldn't tell.
Yeah.
If you're a parent. So.
I don't know, man, but apparently that was a very, very common thing back in the old days. Come around here, you know what you got to do, otherwise you're going to bump your head there. Not head. So yeah, it's I 9. You know I'm talking. Sorry, he's being snow's being snow. Um, but yeah, no, it's how I thought the same thing, but apparently, I mean, it was something that happened quite often. You know, could that be an excuse for, oh man, you slept with so and so, and that's not my kid? Maybe that was what the excuse and where that stemmed from. You know, the changeling theories. It's hard to say. Hey Tim, how's it going? Fairies generally are naughty. Not every single one of them, but quite a bit of them are. You're absolutely right, Tim. Uh, he wishes he was a good boy. He's being a pain in the butt at the moment. Um, get up here, bud. Sit still now. Be good. There, you happy? You're on your side. Sorry, guys. He's being needy. We went for a walk today, and he was having fun running around in the grass and rolling in it because we went out and changed SIM cards in a game cam. So he's just like, "Oh my god, play!" And he's like, "Oh, you're live. I'm coming on." But
No,
no,
he's so.
most, yeah, he's my buddy. He's my buddy. But yeah, trying to catch one of these things and take their treasure is. I'm being nice, Roxanne. Uh, it's not really. I mean, you could do it, but I don't know if I'd recommend it because they're known to trick you. Now, another way to kind of trick them and do it is get them drunk. At the same time, you got to be careful because just like when they're faking the fiction or shoes, they'll fake being drunk and trick you into doing something you don't want to do, and all of a sudden you're getting hell wreaked on you by a leprechaun. So
Oh,
that's a couple things about these little critters that you got to consider on this. They're not friendly by any means. They're really not. Uh, they're
I've seen
not
that movie,
happy go
Leprechaun.
lucky.
I've seen
Oh,
that
dude, great
movie.
movie.
That's a
Yeah,
scary
great
movie.
movie. One of the worst ones, but I still have to watch it because it's Leprechaun. Is Leprechaun in the Hood?
Yeah, I never.
I've seen all of them.
Wait, that okay? I was gonna say you gotta look up the Mobile, Alabama one. Okay, like for real, it's
Yeah, I
actually
wrote
pretty
that.
funny. I
I,
think it's about 20 years old now. It's like 17 or more years old, 18. 2005
mhm.
or 2006 is when that happened. It was funny.
Yeah, I've got that written down. I'll have to look that up. Yeah, you know, now that you kept talking about it, it sounds vaguely familiar, but I didn't know it was Mobile, Alabama. So I'll have to look that up. Maybe I'm recounting on some of the other ones. So yes, they are, Don, and we'll get to some of those here in a minute. But yes, gnomes ain't the friendly little things you think they are either, and we'll go over that here shortly. The next one that I want to kind of hit up on a little bit, and this is one that most people are familiar with, and that's the banshee. Now, there's many stories about banshees. Banshees have a lot of lure behind them. Um, Leprechaun was a great film. Yeah. Uh, Biker, what makes you think you can drink me under the table? Leprechaun, I'm Irish. Yeah. Didn't they have like a leprechaun in space too, or something like that? I can't remember. The Banshees, man. There's a couple quotes here that I'm going to be reading from some people who were talking about encounters with Banshees. So we're going to start off a little bit here first. You know, Banshees are female spirits. Uh, they're known to bring in warnings of death of somebody in the family. They're usually attached to a family. And the only way you'll have a banshee attached to you is if, hey, Ryan, what's going? Oh, that's right. Ryan said that. I'm sorry, buddy. I didn't see that real quick. Um,
Hey Ryan.
so there, if you're of noble blood or pure blood, is when you'll have a banshee attached to you. Now, that ain't to say that there hasn't been reports of people seeing banshees. Usually, when a banshee is attached to a family, it's because they're either of um, old Irish blood or noble. So that's something to consider that when you're dealing with this. Now, female, they're heralds of death of the family member, usually by screaming, wailing, shrieking, or kneeling. Um, Her name is connected to the mythological important Tumuli or mounds, which, if anybody knows anything about fays and fairies, mounds are a very important thing. You go over to Ireland, and they literally, the government has mounds that are protected because if you mess with the fairy mound, they're going to come and wreak havoc on your life. So these things are very, very much, even to this day, still protected by the Irish people and the Irish government. So it's anytime if you go over there, you got to keep that in mind. They literally have signs that say "Fairy mounds, stay off." Hey, Richard, how's it going? Um,
That's cool. It's actually kind of interesting because Bigfoots are that way too. Like some of the states like have laws, and it may be like a tongue-in-cheek kind of thing, but they have laws protecting Bigfoots. So
yeah. Oh yeah. Was it Florida's one? There's a couple of them. I can't remember all of them. But yeah, there is. There's several states. I mean, even in our military handbooks, they have stuff in there if you encounter a Bigfoot.
Oh yeah, I did a show on that. I think it's the U.S. Air Force has a map. I think like a topography map, and they classify Sasquatch as a dangerous animal on that map.
Yeah, yeah, they can be. I mean, honestly, they're no different than anything else out there. I mean, you'll have your good ones, you'll have your bad ones, man, and that's the same thing in every aspect out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I used to. I don't know more. That's a good one, Tim.
I feel that.
Sometimes she has long. Sometimes she has long streaming hair, which she may be used. Maybe seen combing it. She's known to comb her hair with lengths of, or with some legends specifying she only be kneeing while combing her hair. So when she's combing her hair is when she's kneeing. Kneeing's a sound they make, like a mournful, cry kind of way. Kneeing. She's always depressed. She's usually ghastly, got a ghastly complex and stuff like that. So this is kind of some things to look at when you're coming into these banshees. They literally look like a spirit of death. So one of these reports we got here is from Lady Wild, and she wrote this in her book. And this is what she says, quote, "The size of a banshee is another physical feature that differs between regional accounts. Though some accounts of her standing unnaturally tall are recorded, the majority of the tales are described to her height, the height and state of the banshee's stature as short, anywhere between 1 foot to 4 foot tall." See, and I always grew up thinking banshees were these large things. Come to find out, they're not.
No. Yeah, you don't ever want to hear a banshee in the woods.
Oh, I don't want to hear one, honestly.
What
was it, Ghost Hunters? They were over in Ireland one time, and they could have swore they picked up a banshee on their recording when they were over there checking out an old castle.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Well, Bigfoots have a tendency to scream like that, too, especially if they want you out of there. So,
yeah.
They're known to
mimic babies.
Yeah.
They're known to mimic women screaming. I mean, they're known to mimic a lot of stuff.
Well, so, and cats sound like big cats or even bobcats can sound like a banshee.
Yep. I mean, your cougar, your bobcat, your coyotes, all three of them can sound like a screaming woman. And if you get drawn into it, because what's a man's natural instinct? When you hear a woman in trouble, you go in to help her. Well, that's been known to happen. And with women, there's been several accounts with women when it comes to Bigfoot. Bigfoot's been known, and some of these other entities too. We're not getting certain names because I said it enough times already. Big W is one of them. Is known to sound like a baby crying to draw women in. And yeah, Bob's your uncle. They're no longer with us. Bigfoots know how to creep us out. Yes, they do, Richard. They really do. Ryan says, to be fair, if I was a Bigfoot, I'd scream at everyone too. Yeah, ain't no joke.
Get off my lawn. Right?
Yeah. Get off the grass. Her exceptional shortness often goes alongside the description of her as an old woman. Though it may be intended to emphasize her state as a fairy creature, the vivid description description of her physical features brings the banshee to life in the reader's imagination. Sometimes the banshee assumes the form of some sweet singing virgin of the family who died young and has been given the mission to by the invisible powers to become a harbinger of coming death or coming doom to her mortal kindred. Or she may be seen as at night as a shrouded woman crouched beneath the trees, lamenting with a veiled voice, or flying past in the moonlight, crying bitterly. And the cry of this spirit is mournful beyond all other sounds on earth, a haunting sound that betokens certain death to some member of the family whenever it is heard in the silence of the night, installing a sense of dread in those who hear it. And this is kind of, yeah, this is what they're done. I grew up thinking banshees attack people, but honestly, I've never found an actual legitimate case of them attacking somebody.
Mm-mm. I might be a banshee for Halloween this year. I don't know. That sounds kind of
That
fun.
would be cool.
Crouching down, hiding under. I might be a banshee this weekend. I'm going Bigfooting. I might go scare some people. I don't know. Who knows? Be the banshee. No, it's
You
not a
gotta wear your
banshee.
bear
It's just
skin.
my bear skin. Oh God, I almost forgot about that. I should have worn that tonight. Man, if I'd had more time to
Yeah,
think about it,
yeah, that'd be
I'd have on my bear
that'd
skin
be
right
great.
now. Yeah, like I
Oh,
said
that was
last night.
awesome last night when you popped up with that thing on. I was like,
Man, go
oh,
get me.
oh yeah, dude, that is awesome.
Oh yeah, I've got it in here. It might make
Um,
its way over here in a minute. Who knows?
we actually have another account too, and this is by John O'Brien's. In his Irish English dictionary, the entry for Sith Borg states, hence, Binshi, Porel Mengshi, she fairies or women fairies, credulously supposed by the common people to be so affected to certain families that they are heard to sing mournful lamentations. There we go. About her house by night. Whenever any of the family labors under a sickness which is to end by death, but no families which are not of ancient or in noble stock are believed to be honored with this very privilege. So this is where the banshee, because I never knew a banshee was a type of fairy, but reading these encounters by these people over in Ireland that writes about them is when I start learning. Okay, I can see where this is tying into the fairy with some of the stuff that they talk about. So that's why I had to keep this in here. I thought they were just a supernatural or a paranormal entity of warning. They're actually a fairy folk.
Hmm. A lot of things could be attributed to the fairies, actually. That even the orbs. I think you were the one that was telling me about last night. I think we were talking about this with the orbs because we encounter a lot of orbs out in the field when we're doing our Bigfoot and paranormal research. And you had made the connection to fairies, and I think that totally could be the case
Mm-hmm.
in a lot of the cases. Not in all of them, but in a bunch of them. I think so.
Yeah, let me look at. I believe I can't remember. I want to say that's a pixie that looks like that, but I could be wrong. See, pixies. They are about 4 inches tall and tend to live in gardens and woods. They are the type of fae that have most contact with humans. They are well known in the southwestern England's folklore. They can live in the woods area or garden. They're usually fine. Simply walk through the woods, pretty patch of flowers. Come on, where is it? I think it's a pixies that will actually look like some dress in green, my preferred colors. I believe they're the ones that look like can be mistaken as like a firefly at times. Um,
Oh yeah. There's some
if I
good
remember
videos going
correctly.
around going around the internet right now of people getting it looks like fairies on camera now, but I know I live in the south. We have a
Mm-hmm.
lot of moths, a lot of big bugs, and it could also be a bug that
Mm-hmm.
looks like a fairy. I don't know. We got like mega bugs
It could
down
be.
here.
My biggest thing with a lot of this fairy stuff, I've seen a lot of them videos too. I'm kind of leery about them because with all the CGI out there, it's hard to tell what's actually real and what's not. Uh, So that's something we got. Hey, Demos, how's it going? I believe it's a pixie, though. I was kind of reading over that quickly, and I didn't get to where I was wanting to. I have a picture, but it's on my external hard drive. I talked about it in part one, the fairies. So I'll have to go back and recap that and see what I can figure out. But I'm pretty sure it was the pixies that you've known. And I believe that's what came out of the woods at me that one time when we were playing hide and go seek tag in the dark. And when it came at me, I thought it was going to hit me, and I fell backwards and slid on the ground. That thing came at me and then shot up in the air. I think
Whoa.
that's what it was. That's the only time I've ever physically seen an orb besides UFO stuff. Most of the times when I see orbs, it's always on camera. It's caught during paranormal investigations where there's a lot of paranormal activity.
Wow. Yeah, orbs are a
Mm-hmm.
constant out in the field. We have a lot of orb activity. And I've even had an orb that floated into my tent one night. We were having a bunch of activity outside the tent, outside of our tent at base camp, and everybody had turned in for the night, and we were hearing stuff going on and things walking around the base camp, and uh, out of nowhere, like a big orb about a little bigger than a softball, floated into my tent,
Mm-hmm.
and it just sat there like it was observing me, and I just watched it. I mean, it was iridescent, it was see through and clear, and it kind of
Mm-hmm.
just floated around, and then it went out the side of my tent, and then we have it on camera because we keep cameras out there sometimes, most of the time, and it floated. You can see it float out of my tent and into the next tent over. So
Wow.
it
Yeah, it
was
could have been a
fine.
fairy checking you out, or it could have been a ghost that checking you out.
Hmm.
Demos, yes, some fairies can look like orbs. That's what we was talking about just a few minutes ago. I believe it's the pixies. If I remember correctly, it's the pixies. Sometimes, a lot of times, they're mistaken as being fireflies. And that's why when I talked to Jessica, I said, "Have you ever considered the orbs you're seeing around Bigfoot actually being these fae, and not so much as orbs as in spirits or orbs as it's Bigfoots themselves?" I know a lot of people talk about, oh, you see an orb and all of a sudden it manifests into a Bigfoot. In all my ancient studies that I've studied in Native American lore and stuff like that, I've never, ever, ever heard of a case of that happening. Orbs are generally like spirits. Spirits are known to transform into orbs. So I always had the conclusion that when you're dealing with orbs around something like that, and this is just my theory, that could be the remains of a past Bigfoot that you're seeing because they have a soul just like we do. They're Siatonka, the elder big brother, the first beings. They were here before mankind was. So they have a soul, they have a life, they have a language, they have feelings. I mean, this is their the only difference between them and us and them is the fact that they're taller and hairier and stronger. They're even known to breed with humans. So the aspect of a deceased Bigfoot being a ghostly figure that is in shape of an orb, I can't dispute that because that'll go against everything I believe in and everything I've read. But their fairies are also known to be like a ball of energy as well, and that's like I said, I'm pretty sure it's the pixies. I'll have to double check. Oh, that would be cool, William. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, there's been at least two times, and one recently, where I saw a an orb of light flash through the woods and behind the trees, and then there was a huge growl huff right after the it was like an orange color, and then it was like hoof, like real loud, and I got my flashlight and looked because I thought, well, there could be a bear. Okay, so I was looking everywhere for a bear, but there was nothing there. It was 100%. It had to have been a Bigfoot because there. It's teeming with Bigfoots out there where that happened. But it went from an orb to like a Bigfoot.
Yeah, I mean, and what um, I'm a firm believer, and I've talked to you about this before. Bigfoots are creatures of nature, the same as the Fae. So they know about each other. They're all have been here on this planet longer than humans have been. So they know about each other. So there's no way that they couldn't interact with each other out in nature. They're both in nature 24/7. 365 days of the year. They're in nature. So them being knowing of each other, them being the first entities on this planet, the fact that would you would have Fae around Bigfoot, I cannot dispute that as being a very good possibility. Do I know for a fact? No. That's just my opinion off of basic knowledge of how things work, that would be a very good cause. As far as catching one, Roxanne, I don't know if I want to, because Fae can really jack your world up. They can be nice, but they can turn unnice really, really quick. So trying to catch one is not necessarily the best of ideas. That's just my opinion. What do you think on that, Jessica?
No, I wouldn't want to catch one, because then, I mean, they would seek vengeance, like their whole fairy clan, right? Like their whole fairy crew would come and hunt you down. So it's just like Bigfoot. So I've always been told, like, don't ever hurt a Bigfoot. Okay, like don't shoot unless your life's in danger and it's coming at you and you're about to die. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to shoot a human either. Okay, or hurt a human, or trap a human, or anything like that. You know, but yeah, I have that mutual respect. But what if you like accidentally caught a fairy or something? And I don't know. I wouldn't want to.
Oh.
I wouldn't want to do that. Yeah,
dude, bro, come on, sit still, bub. Sorry.
Oh my god, I am literally having deja vu right now, Eric. This is weird. I feel like I've been here before.
I hate that. Dude, I get deja vu all the time. I'm like, okay, is this a good one or a bad one?
And it was almost like as the words were coming out of my mouth, I'm like, I've already said this before. I've already been here. What in the world? That was weird. I haven't had deja vu in a long time.
Yeah. I mean, I've had it so often, and every time I have it, I'm like, okay, is this a good one or a bad one? Because sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. So which one? What am I walking into now?
I know. Like, I just had it. That was weird.
Yeah.
That was weird.
I'm trying to get caught up on my comments here. Are leprechauns a type of fairy? Yes, they are in the Fae category, Demos. If you catch them, they got to give you gold. That is true, but they're also known to trick you out of the gold and cause harm upon you. So that's something you have to keep in mind. Yes, they are to give you their gold, but they're tricksters, man. They don't like to give it up easy. They're known as fairy bankers for a reason. They're very stingy when it comes to their gold or their precious metals and jewels. It's not just gold, but yeah. I'm trying to make sure there ain't no more questions I haven't missed. Yeah. You got the Karen fairies. That ain't no joke. You got Karen Bigfoots too. Jessica's got a picture of one.
I got one right here.
Hey, I cut out the Karen Bigfoot. Look at that.
Karen Bigfoot. That's my Karen Bigfoot pin. Okay. She wants to speak to your manager. Okay.
Hey, Snow, someone wants to speak to you.
Is that your manager?
So these next, yeah, might as well be. Might as well be. He's always here. So the next little group I talk about, for a long time, I never knew these were actually Faes. But if you study them, there's so much encounters of these things being Fae. Now, this picture I can't leave up for very long, but it is a actual medieval painting that was painted of these things. So I'm just going to hold this up here for a minute for people to look at. And these are called nymphs. Now, there's many, many kinds of nymphs. But this is how they actually look at, like, when they're out in nature. That's why I went with that medieval drawing, because that's the one that is most commonly associated with them.
They're always naked.
Now that I got that. Yeah, and they're known for romance. They're also known to be mischievous as hell too, and possibly even kill you. What did Uncut say here? I need a pixie to show up and become 5'10" and give me hugs. Yeah, Tinkerbell's good for that. Nymphs they are a minor female nature deity in ancient Greek folklore. Distinct from other Greek goddesses, nymphs are generally regarded as personifications of nature. So this is where you get several different kinds of nymphs. So they are immortal. They're known to help the gods. How do I say this politely on YouTube? They're very active with men, but they're also known to kill them as well. So you got to keep that in mind too. That's why I was like, man, if I'm going to be taken out by a cryptid or supernatural or a fae or something like that, might as well give me a nymph. I'll go out with a smile. Yeah, I just don't want to be wind up as a steamy pile of poo on the forest floor. That's my biggest thing. Um, they are immortal, but you can kill them as well. So that's the thing about these nymphs, especially your dryads. Now, when I did part one, I done a part on dryads, which is the type of fae that live in trees. And when you have a face in a tree, that is suspected to be the house of the home of a dryad, which their fate is tied to those trees. So it wasn't until later on when I done research that I found out a dryad is not only just a fae, but it's a nymph style fae as well. And this is some of those that have a tendency to be killed. Um, if you take that tree down, you're going to take that fae out with you, that dryad. So keep that in mind when you're cutting trees down. William and me kind of talked about this morning. The druids used to knock on trees to call out the dryads, the fae. Same concept if you're cutting down a tree. So that may be you, bro, but no, that is not a way I want to go. No. My sister saw a leprechaun peeking around her from around the corner. I think he was telling. I remember that. You was telling me about that uncut last week, if I remember right. Yeah. Seen its head poking around, which is where I suggested, was it an actual leprechaun or was it a brownie? Because of the description you gave me about it. But from the house, this was like 25 years ago. Yeah, I remember that. It wasn't really being mischievous. It was just spying, which brownies are known to live in homes and around homes. And the description with the colors and everything else you gave me sounded a lot like a brownie. But yeah, I mean, that is definitely, it could be a leprechaun as well. I remember you talking to me about the last week. I've heard of these nymphs. A friend told me, yeah. That's why I made that comment last week. I was like, I wonder if that's where that term came from because of way nymphs are. So some of these types of nymphs are, and they live in different groups. Elves are a Fae too, but elves are also deep in Norse mythology, and they have their own realm that they live in. So it really depends on what culture you come from, of what an elf is like. Most of your cultures have an elf. Depending on who it is what they're like. So, but most common ones, like the ones in Lord of the Rings, are actually Norse-based elves. Just like everything else in Lord of the Rings is very Norse-based. So you got to keep that in mind when you're talking about elves. According to Norse mythology, elves are not Fae. But if you listen to the Scottish, the Irish, and the English, and even here in America's, elves are Fae. I gotta let you down, but it's hot. Yeah.
There's also the Keebler elves too. Those are good ones.
Yeah.
They make good cookies.
Yeah.
No, but it isn't like
middle
pop
elf
culture, though. Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah.
like mainstream pop culture elves right there, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
And that's the thing. I mean, elves is like a lot of stuff. Even sad to say it, even Lilith has made her way into pop culture. They take something that's one thing and they change it to whatever they want so they can make money off of it. And it misleads people so very often. And this will get people in trouble. And I think this may be why some of this stuff attacks people, because they're used to watching a boob tube, thinking, oh, this thing is this way. Let's go up and a bam. Check my messenger. Okay.
Another thing when it comes to the nymphs are the tree. Okay, so trees, right? When I was talking about the nymphs a little while ago, Dennis and I were actually looking into like trees that look like women. Okay, like trees that there's a tree that looks like a ballerina. There's some that look like scary women and ladies. And I would be startled if I was in the woods, doing some Bigfoot research or whatever, or just taking a hike and I ran into a tree that looked like a woman. It's a little creepy.
I've seen trees that were very humanistic looking, And that's why I went, okay, that's a tree imp. I'm going to stay away from them for a little bit because a tree imp, you don't know if they're good or they're bad. Sometimes you'll run into them. They're good. Maybe you did something that pissed it off to a tree and it's going to wreak havoc on your butt. And I cut trees down. I don't want to take my chances around a tree imp in case he gets upset. I may have took out his cousin or something.
Just go give him a hug, Eric. Just go give him a hug. Hug trees. That's what I did. I hugged a tree yesterday.
Hug trees.
I really did. I love it. You know what? Hugging trees, there's actually an energy transfer where they can transmute your negative energy off of you. So it's not a bad idea to go hug a tree.
They can. If you want something that's quicker and more powerful, use your bare feet on the earth. That is quicker and more powerful. If you take your shoes off and you touch Mother Earth when you're trying to connect with the energy, you'll feel it immediately. I mean, it's like bam, because that's the most sensitive part of your body. A lot of these Faes and a lot of these cryptids know that as well. And when they're touching, they're grounding themselves to nature. It's all done through the feet. So if you study a lot of this meditation, when it tells you to meditate and bring upon the vibrational vibrations of the earth and the energy of the earth, it says to have your feet on the ground and you feel it come from your feet to the top of your head.
Eric, what do you think about walking trees? Have you ever seen the videos of the trees that are walking?
I've seen one, I think. Oops, I'm on the wrong account. I'm trying to pull up some pictures here that William has sent me. I classify them as tree imps, which technically, in a way, tree imps are a type of Fae. In some aspects, depending on who you're listening to, they're a type of Fae. In other aspects, they're not. Either way, it's intriguing. If you study, tree people, tree imps, however it is you want to call them, they're shepherds of the forest. So they're known to. Where the hell are you going? Come on, baby. Sorry. They're known to move trees around into locations where they need to be. So say this ground is more nutritious here. They'll move these trees into that position to kind of help them to grow and become strong. Trees, like everything else out in nature, has a voice. They can talk to you. You can hear them. When you connect with them, like hugging a tree, you can literally, if you concentrate hard enough, you can hear them speak to you. I've always said this. It's very, very important to pay respects. Even when I cut a tree down, I plant tobacco with it. I give it an offering of tobacco, and I thank it for its sacrifice so that I may warm and feed my family. It's just like when I'm hunting deer or anything else. Always, always, always pay them respect. It is extremely, extremely important to do that. And let me get to this chat real quick, and I've got a couple of pictures that William just sent me. And then the load up of a fairy that was caught. And actually, this picture, I've seen this picture before. Do you think of the Wolverine picture I got from my image? It looks like a dog man. I got to look at it again, uncut. I've seen so many stuff. I don't want to get mixed up and give you bad info. If I remember right, you sent that to me, didn't you? Ryan says, yep, you're correct. Best way to drain negative energy is to ground yourself, take your shoes off, place the twigs between your toes, kneel in the sand or grass, and let Mother Earth heal. Yeah, you got to really focus on bringing her energy up through your feet and up to the top of your head. Uncut says, Eric, it had the leprechaun hat that they are known to wear. Oh, I thought you said it had a pointy hat, so I must have been mistaken. I may have been mistaken. I apologize, Uncut. Yes, I did, William. I'm getting ready to upload them now. I got them saved. I got to see if I can upload them or if I got to change them to a different file. Hey, Christine, I'm getting caught up in the comments real quick, and I'm going to jump over and do that because I can't read comments and download at the same time, because if I get out of that download, it stops downloading it. Don says, yeah, when I try to talk to trees, they're here, they throw their branches at me. Well, you probably doing something wrong. How you talking to them, Don? How you talking to them, buddy? Guys, give me a second on the chat. Let me get over here and see if I can download these real quick. That William just sent me. He sent me 2 amazing pictures. So I got to make sure I don't have to. There's the one. Okay, good. I do. Well, okay, good. It's uploaded. Yes, it's uploading. Okay, let me upload the other one. And we'll pull these up. These here are what pixies are known to look like.
Whoa.
So these are the pictures that we just showed me. And these are described to what pixies look like. And this is one of the fairy pictures that's running around. I remember seeing this about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And let me get to the other one. I was trying to make sure there wasn't a question in the comments. This is what it looks like from a distance without being blown up. So you can kind of see where this could be mistaken as a praying mantis because of the long arms. But if you actually look at it close, like you do in this picture here, you can actually see how this is set up. If memory serves me correctly, I believe this is what they were calling a pixie, which kind of has that look to them.
Yeah, it does. It looks like a little fairy. Now, is that classified? Yeah. Is that a real pixie, or that's not a bug? Is it? That's a pixie.
No, that's not a bug. Yeah, it's if I remember correctly, William, being you sent that to me, you've got the latest information. I haven't seen this picture in about, I guarantee it's about 3 or 4 weeks ago when I seen it. This is what they were calling a pixie, if I remember correctly. Are they not, William? He's had these pictures for a few years now. I'm pretty sure this is what, when I seen them, they were called pixies. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, though. I really could be wrong. And then we'll look at this close up one more time. So you can see there ain't no bug. I mean, it can be mistaken as a bug if you're closed-minded. That's why I always say think outside the box, have an open mind. Don't go in saying 100% this is what this is, because you'll be made a fool 99% of the time. Yes, pixie. Okay, that's what I thought. Thank you, William. That's what I was thinking. This was supposed to be a pixie. God, it may have been a couple years since I've seen it.
Wow.
That's what my wife said looks like. Oh, wow, Dawn. Yeah. That's a cool picture. It really is. Demo says, I've seen a few like that in the woods near my house. Yeah. These are very common to be in the woods. These are very common if you plant a flower garden. They are known to visit your flower garden. But you have to be very positive natured. You can't be negative, and you have to have a lot of respect for your land. If you do not do those things, they will not come to your home. That's just the sad truth of it, folks. I mean, if you're wanting this stuff on your land, remember, have respect for your land, practice proper land management, and you'll most likely have something like this. Uncut says the living trees, they do move in their normal way. Time-lapse videos shows it. They may move in what it would we call abnormal or supernaturally as well. And you're right. I remember seeing time-lapse videos of that stuff. You're actually correct on that. Yes. Yeah, they're known to live amongst ferns too. So I can go back to my notes here. I still got because I added these new notes to my last ones. I figure it was a lot easier than having a buttload of notes. And we'll just they're only about 4 inches tall and tend to live in gardens and woods. They're the type of fae that have most contact with humans. They're well known in southwestern England's folklore. They can live in any wooded area or garden. You can easily find pixies if you simply walk into the woods or a pretty patch of flowers. Hence, why that was another reason why I kind of left my flowers up in my field this year is for the Fae. You can kind of see where that's coming from on that. Um, yes, there is. Yes, there is, Christine, and that's why I'm kind of saying if you actually listen, you will hear them talk. Absolutely. Um, they do have wings, but they're known as earth or nature fairies. They're super tiny with human like figures and delicate wings that move extremely fast, much like a hummingbird. So when you're seeing their wings flap, think of a hummingbird. Uh, I actually just said that here too. Never mind. I was about to read that part. Much like a hummingbird. Some dress only in green, Tinkerbell, which Tinkerbell was a pixie, while others prefer other colors of nature like blue or yellow. They will choose an area or a community to live in, but these communities get torn up often by the from people building homes or developments. When this happens, the pixie in the area will be traumatized and go into hiding. However, they may not leave unless the area is totally decimated. If you want to draw pixies into your yard, create woodsy areas or pretty gardens for them to live in. That's what I got out here. Pixies appreciate both shelter and nature. They will always come to check out a cute little fairy house. And this is where that tradition of having a fairy house, if you go to certain people's homes and they say, yeah, I got a fairy house right here, it's for pixies. My daughter used to make them and put them out there in my garden.
My has a fairy house, like a whole fairy village outside at their house.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They tend to enjoy contact with humans. They are very cunning and can delight in leading humans astray. They are they are your typical mischievous type of fairies. On the other hand, every pixie will be a bit different since they all have individual personalities. We're seeing this yet again. This is where, like I was talking about earlier, even in your cryptids and other stuff like that, each of them have their own personalities. It's like I say on this show all the time and other shows. Even though I've had nothing but good rapport with my guests that I've had on my property for 32 years, I'm not dumb enough to know that there's going to be one that can have a bad attitude or just have a bad day, can ruin that experience. You're seeing it right here. They're talking about it in the pixies as well. They don't understand human desperation or pain. They play a lot of jokes for fun. Both these jokes may not seem funny to people and they cause harm to humans. They are especially known to steal stuff from your home or take items and hide them hide them somewhere else. So you cannot find them. However, as long as you treat them well and give them gifts that they approve of, they will probably respect you too. Enjoy the tiny houses. They enjoy tiny houses, nectar, and honey. Leave a small offering out for them if you are interested in making contact. They especially love flowers, so planting blooms, especially those native to the area, will draw them towards your property. You probably won't be able to find a pixie community because they magically cloak these areas. They like to stay hidden, especially nowadays due to the devastation of nature. They will come to your area if you create a beautiful natural spot. When you are giving gifts to pixies, consider what is natural to your region. In return for your gifts, pixies will help your gardens flourish and grow. So you see why I'm always talking about practicing good land management. And when I mention the Fae, this right here is the reason why I mentioned them.
Oh yeah.
Get back to the comments.
Yeah. Well, I wonder, could they also be protectors? I mean, is that kind of what they're doing? And it's like putting out a little fairy house is almost like an offering. Like, help me watch my land.
Like your brownie. I just lost my chat. What happened here? There it goes. Okay. Woo, that scared me for a second. So brownies are known to help you take care of your home. They're also known to take care of animals. Unless you mistreat your animals or you're just plain lazy, then they won't. in order to keep them in your home. They love to clean your house, but don't like to be watched cleaning your house. They like gifts, little offerings, and stuff like that. They're known to also help protect your home. Like if something's coming after you or your animal, and they get really attached to your animals, really, really attached to animals. You want to piss a brownie off quick, mistreat your animal. That will make one upset, and they'll wreak havoc on you. So some are known to be protectors, but a lot of times in a lot of reports, when you're learning about Fae, they're mischievous. Even if they could be kind at one moment, mischievous at the next. I used to think my fairy godmother was a real fairy, small but beautiful in a white long dress with her magical wand. Yeah, I mean, it's can't deny it. I can't say it's not
Yeah.
true. I ain't never seen one. If I did, she was probably drunk, and that's why I've had so many problems I've had. Or she's like, I give up on this dude.
Oh gosh. Well, my son
Yeah,
has
they
been
really
visited
are.
by the tooth fairy about 3 times in the past month or so. He
Look,
lost a lot of teeth all at once. So we've had the tooth fairy in our house actually recently.
mhm,
So yeah.
mhm. Uh, William says, when you go to the forest, always get the fairies cloth and fabric. They can make things out of them. I've heard that, and I've also heard tobacco was another thing that they like. And tobacco is also used in the supernatural and paranormal world as well. Some of these fae love to take tobacco back and use them. They'll tell you, like when I've heard Native American stories, when you ask help from an ancestor, they want tobacco in return, and they'll take that tobacco back to where they live now and use it. You'll hear that in a lot of different stuff, the paranormal, supernatural, cryptid world, all this stuff. Tobacco is a very huge thing that plays a huge part in all these factors.
Yeah.
Okay, I
There's a
think
lot of
I'm caught up on
cryptids.
the comment. Mm-hmm.
Well, cryptids and
Urban Flyers.
anytime we go to an investigation now, a lot of the somebody with this usually has tobacco on them to
Yep.
leave kind of as an
Hello, Adam.
offering. Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very important. I'm a dipper, but I've always got tobacco on me. Even when I hunt and harvest deer, I offer the deer spirit tobacco. It's
Hmm.
a sign of respect. It's an offering to that spirit. I always tell him, thank you for sacrificing yourself so that I may feed and clothe my family. May your spirit teach the young your knowledge before you go to the land of the great hunting grounds. You always say a prayer to it. I give it thanks. And usually I'm doing this before I do take the shot, and then afterwards I'm doing the tobacco. I always face it east, south, west, north, which is the four directions of the medicine wheel. It's not north, south, east, and west. It's east, the direction of birth; south, the direction of childhood; west, the direction of adulthood; north, the direction of old age and death. The great circle. That's why you always face your opening of your lodge to the east. When you come out of your lodge in the morning, it's like being reborn. When you come in your lodge at night, it's like going back into the womb. So that way, every time you come out of your home, you face it to the east, the direction of birth. You're being reborn every single day.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Yeah, I like to. It's like a
Not
new day
nowadays,
every
Tim.
day,
Yeah.
right?
No, what I use only cost me about $23 a month. Sometimes every 2 weeks to a month, depending how stressed out I am. Really don't cost me that much. So let's get back to these nymphs. I want to get a couple of these done. Here shortly, I'm going to do a shout out for Dark Angel Medical. Um, I don't get paid to promote his products, but I love his products so much that I always do it. But let me finish up the nymphs, and then we'll do a short video and a short talk about Dark Angel. So the first one we're going to talk about is a Mei. Mei is known as an ash tree nymph. Then you have the dryads, like I was talking about earlier. They're known as an oak tree nymph. Then you have the Alcides, which is the grove nymphs. The Naides, which is spring nymphs. The Norids, which is the sea nymphs. The Oceanids, which is the ocean nymphs. The Oreads, which is the mountain nymphs. The Epim lids, which is the apple tree, and folk nymphs. The Hesperides, which is the evening nymphs. The Hades, which is rain nymphs, and you got the Pallades, which is the compassions of Archimedes, and that's your different types of nymphs. And let's make sure I don't miss nothing in the comments real quick. Okay, so I'm going to play a short video real quick. This is a commercial I made for Dark Angel Medical. If you guys are looking for the absolute very best trauma kit in the world, Dark Angel Medical is what you want, and I'm going to play this real quick. So this is the one I carry out in the field when I'm investigating. Mine is the military edition because I know military combat field mission. They have different types of stuff. You're going to pay a little bit of money for a Dark Angel medical kit, but you will never find one any better than Dark Angel. Doc does an amazing, amazing job on these things. If you save a life and you give him the information on the life you saved with his kit, he replaces what you use in that kit absolutely 100% free for life. So even though you pay a little bit of money on it in the beginning, this is a kit for life. And he's the very first person to ever do this. There's other companies that mimic him. He's the OG. He's the godfather of kits for life. So if you get a chance, go to darkangelmedical.com. Buy some of his kits. They are FHA and HSA used. You can use those to buy your kits. He has classes on how to use his kits on YouTube at darkangelmedical.com or YouTube at Dark Angel Medical. And you can also go to Instagram to Dark Angel Medical, and he has classes on how to use his kits on there. Hey, Kevin, how's it going? I know I seen that just a little bit ago, William. That's awesome. I was 309 yesterday. I'm already at 333. I mean, I've got some of the everybody who subscribes to my show. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. I appreciate every single one of you. I'm very humbled that you come listen to this old fluffy hillbilly talk. But let's build this universe together. Let's have a lot of fun. This stuff I talk about, yes, there's scary parts to it, but there's also good parts as well. And it's important that we know both sides of it.
That's true.
So
I wanted to step in. I wanted to say something about those trauma kits too, because that's huge. That he replaces all of the things that you use out of there. Because trauma packs are not cheap. Okay, and I've built my own trauma pack. I'll probably get a Dark Angel Medical one day here, but I've got one that I carry with me everywhere I go. It is. I've been trained in. I did a short course in combat medical training, because we have to know that when we're out in the field doing our Bigfoot and cryptid field research. If somebody gets hurt, we're miles. I mean, way far out. We're miles from a hospital or anything like that. So we have to be able to treat ourselves and our teammates out there. So always carry a trauma pack. Get the essentials. Even if you don't get a Dark Angel, have a trauma pack on you. Okay. With the essentials, like with something to stop bleeding and things like that. We're living in wild times right now. Okay. So it's a good idea to have at least a first aid kit at the least in your car, in case something happens. But Dark Angel Medical, that's amazing. That's cool that you're representing them and stuff. I love it. Doc's a cool dude.
I absolutely don't get any money for this. Oh, well, if I forgot, use Diaz code for now. I'll probably have my own code soon. He's offered to give me a code, but I didn't have enough followers at the time, so use DA's code Pt.2 and you'll get 20% off of your kits when you purchase them. They do have first aid kits, and they do have all different style trauma kits. I've got 2 kits. I've got this one, which is my field kit, and I've got one that straps to the headrest of my truck. So I've always got a Dark Angel medical kit somewhere close by.
Yeah, it's imperative, man. We gotta have some kind of first aid in case of an emergency. It's good to have that.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it is. It's extremely important. You know, I have my own military rucksack that was an old medic's rucksack that I've got a bunch of stuff in it for first aid. That thing's so big. The good thing is I got for everything I need in a smaller little pouch here than I did in that big old Army rucksack, medic rucksack. Unfortunately,
Nice.
to the degree I've been lived in the absence of many sacred ways to the old ways, and I've grown up many, but I've regenerated things a lot. So a lot of goes on. It's you know, we've all daggone it, come on. We've all had issues in our life, and we've all been through a lot of stuff uncut. It's not the person who you was, it's who the person you are now. So remember, to order to be reborn, you have to rebirth everything about you and become something positive as something negative. And that is really what matters more than anything. We all have a dark past, and Lord knows I've had my fair share of dark past. That past is my past. If you're always looking there, you can never see what's in front of you. Always keep your eyes forward and focus on positivity. That is the only thing I can suggest that you do more than anything else, is that right there. How is it that tobacco doesn't grow wild anymore? Because people harvest them. We got people that grow tobacco all over here in Missouri. I'm going to learn how to do it myself. I'm getting tired of paying companies money on something I can do myself. So I'm going to learn how to do it. But just people harvest them. Land clear. So these next little critters we're going to talk about, these are called red hats. The right one. Oh, I did not hit the right one. Sorry, my bad. Red hats. Red caps. I mean, not red hats is what I was calling them, but they're actually called red caps. So red caps are a Pauri is what they're also known, is a type of malevolent, murderous goblin found in broader folklore. He is said to inhabit ruined castles along the Anglo-Scottish borders, especially those that were scenes of tyranny or wicked deeds, and is known for soaking his cap in blood and the blood of his victims. He is also known as Red Comb and Bloody Cap. Red Cap is depicted as a short, thick-set old elf with long, predominant teeth, skinny fingers, arms, skinny fingers armed with talon like eagles, large eyes, fiery red, grizzly hair streaming down his shoulders, iron boots, a pike staff in his left hand, and a red cap on his head. When travelers take refuge in his lair, he flings huge stones at them, and if he kills them, he soaks his cap in their blood, giving it a crimson hue. He is unaffected by human strength, but you can drive him away by words of scripture or by the brandishing of a crucifix, which causes him to utter a dismal yell and vanish in flame, leaving behind a large tooth.
Ew.
So
he's a demon, is what he is.
Yeah, I mean, he is definitely in the demonic side of it. Now, he's a goblin. I mean, he's an evil elf. I mean, he's a goblin.
Yeah, I would not run into that thing.
Hey, your ex-mother-in-law's got a beard that big. We need to have a little talk here, Roxanne. But yeah, these things are something you definitely do not want to run into. I mean, these things will cause nothing but pain and havoc on your life. I couldn't find a real good drawing of one. This was the closest one I could find. That's why I went with this one. But this is something you just don't want to run into because they'll kill you. So this is a murdering type thing.
Okay, well, it looked looks kind of like those garden gnomes that everybody has in their backyard, their front yard. Or is this the same as a garden gnome, or no? Is this different?
They're different, but so I'll show you a picture real quick. This is what a red cap looks like. These are what gnomes look like. So they look very similar, but there is a difference in them as well, especially the hands. The hands are like talons of an eagle, and they have iron boots. So they are just they're a lot. If you look at a lot of your Fae, they're very similar. So I can see where the comparison would come in on that, but no, they're kind of different. I mean, look at some stories of some dwarves in some countries. Dwarves even look like this in a way. Depends on what culture you come from. So,
Oh, yeah. It kind of reminds me of what a Tommy knocker looks like too.
I never thought about that actually.
The hands are different, probably.
But. Yeah, but you can see the iron boots. I was trying to find the one where he was holding a staff, but the ones I was finding that was holding the staff was off of video games. It's like I'm not using a video game one. So this was the closest I can get to actually had the claws. That was the other thing. Some of them may have their look for them, not the claws.
Okay, what's up with the iron boots? That's my question. Okay, first of all, how do you walk in iron boots? Second of all, couldn't you just take a magnet and they'd stick to your magnet and you could just leave them there like a fly paper kind of? I don't know.
They're pretty strong, so it may not work on that. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, iron is a mineral from here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean they are. I mean, iron comes from the earth. Iron was a very, very important metal back in the day. Maybe that's how that became known to them, was because iron was very well sought after back in the day. So, hey, let's make this dude even cooler and put iron boots on him. Thor had an iron gauntlet, that glove that he used to help him handle Mjolnir. So there's a lot of power in iron. If you study a lot of mythology, iron has a lot of power to it. A lot of strength, a lot of magic.
Well, and iron also keeps vampires away, doesn't it? I mean, you could put that's why people put horseshoes above their doors, and there were iron bars for cemeteries.
That's paranormal and supernatural. Vampires is like pure silver, same as the big W. Pure silver, I believe the SW as well. Pure silver can either harm them or kill them. Wrought iron is used. You put the wrought iron in the four corners of your home and the four corners of your property, and it's used to keep supernatural and demons and stuff like that out of your home. So
it's good to
that's
know.
where that actually comes from. How'd I know that was coming? She did have a beard. So yeah, these things are wicked. I'm trying to get my mouse is dancing around doing its own thing right now. Daggone it. Do what I want you to do. Thank you. We'll get into everybody's favorite little things that they're another one that is so misled, and that's your gnomes. People think of gnomes, and just like you said, you little garden gnomes you put out there. No, these things are not what you think they are. So they come from a mythological creature and diminutive spirit in Renaissance magic and alchemy is where the gnomes come from. The gnomes are believed to come from actually a misidentification of something else. Where did that go? I forgot the name of that dang creature. Introduced by Paracelsus in the 16th century and widely adopted by authors, including those of modern fantasy literature, typically small humanoids who live underground. Your kobold, another one of your Fae that's known to help miners, is also known to trick miners. Kobold is one of these that is believed to be mistaken, or where a gnome is actually called is actually a kobold, but they call it a gnome. That's one of them. I remember that. Gnomes' characteristics are reinterpreted to suit various storytellers, and artists. There was a brief time time in early modern Germany at beginning that lurk to the mines. That this is where they're tying them to the mines. They're known to be lurking in the mines, probably known as this. I'm going to butcher the hell out of this name. It is Bergaman Lin. Bergaman. I'll put that in the chat. Let me highlight that and put that in the chat. I am going to bugger the hell out of this name. Every time I say it, it's like, man, I'm not getting the vowels right. And kicks my butt because I can't get that vowel right. There it is. Equatable to what Paracelsus called a gnome. Georgius Arcola, being a supervisor of mines, collected his well-versed knowledge of this mythical being in his monograph De Animalibus Subterraneus. The corrected title suggests that the subject be subterranean animated beings. It was regarded as a Tretzi on the mountain spirit. So, kind of paid homage to the mountain spirit. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Daggone you. By the brother mountain spirit by the brothers Grimm and Duché Sagon. After World War II, which earlier references in ironic use from the late 1930s, the diminutive figures introduced as lawn ornaments during the 19th century came to be known as garden gnomes. The image of the gnome changed further during the 1960s and 70s when the first plastic garden gnomes were manufactured. These gnomes followed the style of the 1937 depiction of the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. They actually have it in here as the dwarves, the Seven Dwarfs and Snow White. I just kind of changed it up because it makes people understand that a little bit better. The image of the gnomes was built upon by the illustrated children's book classic Gnomes in 1976. In the original Dutch, Levon and Rekken van die Colbert by the author Will Hagen and artist Ren Porvet. Followed in the 1981 by the Secret Book of Gnomes. Garden gnomes share a resemblance to the Scandinavian Tomet and Nessie, and the Swedish term Tomet. It can be translated as gnome in English. So this is where the name gnome comes from, was actually Scandinavian and Swedish, which they're all Scandinavian, but Sweden and Scandinavia. And it's this Tomet. So what we think of gnomes is, your little classic garden gnomes. It's not actually what they are. And there's been several misidentifications. They're very closely resembled to what I was talking about earlier on the kobold, because they were found in mines. And kobolds hang out in mines. They've been known to help miners, but they also been known to play pranks on miners as well. And this is very classical with what these gnomes were when they were talked about originally back in the 16th century.
Kind of like the Tommy knockers a little bit that I was mentioning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been under the impression that things by themselves may empower iron sage. Only one has to put their own energy within in order for it to be as powerful as it needs. To a point, yes. Yeah, to a point, you're right. Who in here is Harry Potter fans? I know I am. I ain't gonna lie. I'm a Harry Potter fan.
I like Harry Potter. I like the magic.
Yeah. You're gonna love this next Fae. If you guys get a chance, we're looking for a great homemade knife. Ken Brock is a veteran, not a veteran, a former law enforcement. He hand makes his own knives. Go to brockblades.com. Give him a shout out. You're gonna pay a little bit of money for his knives, but they are the absolute very best handmade knives you can get on the market. So if you get a chance, go over to brockblades.com and see what Ken Brock can make for you. So I'm trying to see if I missed anything here.
God, I love a good knife.
Oh, yeah. I don't think things have have no power in them and themselves by other factors have something to do with. Everything's got a little bit of power in it, uncut. Some of it more power than others. Some things, yes, you have to project your own energy into it to bring out the power. But wrought iron and salt is the two key ingredients against paranormal and supernatural. Depending on what type of supernatural, I should say. Some supernatural silver bullets or pure silver mixed with white ash is something good. Oak is known to be something good against some paranormal stuff. So everything has a power to it. But if you don't know how the knowledge to do it, or you don't have the energy to use it properly, it won't work. If I was a gnome, I would be a nasty. Actually, that would be my name. Heck yeah, William.
Nasty.
So to all you hottie pirate Harry Potter fans, you're gonna like this dude because he was brought famous in Harry Potter, and this is something I did not know it was a Fae actually. I thought this thing was something totally different. I was wrong. This is actually a Fae, and that's a Bogart. Bogarts are a type of Fae.
Well, look at his ears. He looks like one.
Nobody truly knows the true identity of a Bogart. Harry Potter was actually extremely accurate on a lot of stuff they talked about in their movies, and this is one of them. This is probably one of the closest depictions you can get to what a Bogart may naturally look at, but they're always disguising themselves so you don't know what they truly look like. This was the very best thing I can come to what most of the encounters talk about is what a Bogart truly looks like when it's not transformed. And it could be completely wrong. There's just not enough evidence out there in the world to tell you what one actually truly looks like. So the Bogart,
there's a.
go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Well, I was going to say, after you explain what the Bogart is, there's something else while I'm thinking about it. There's another thing that I just talked about recently out of Harry Potter 2, and I didn't even know it was in Harry Potter until somebody told me. But those are the mandrakes. Okay, those little plants that are like alive. Mm-hmm. They look like little humans.
They actually scream. Yep, they actually scream.
They scream. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's in Harry Potter. It's funny as hell because hey Camel Dad, in Harry Potter, there's so much accuracy to everything. What's her name? Who wrote Harry Potter? She was very, very detailed and very accurate when she was writing these books. Nothing but mad props to her. She did her homework and she did her research, and she made one hell of a book series, one hell of a movie series, and everything that was every type of creature. Paranormal, supernatural thing that was in there was extremely damn near spot on accurate.
Yeah. Well, those little mandrakes and that thing that's in that movie that looks like a mandrake, it's actually, I think it could be considered a neripon. If you ever heard of a neripon, that's right up the alley of what we're talking about today. And we can talk about that too. I think in Thailand, I think is where it is, at a monastery, they have two of these little elf looking, they're like sun-dried. They're sun-dried. Mm-hmm. It's like two little elfin-looking things, like little men. Mm-hmm. But they were kind of like plants too. So it's weird. They were made of plants. They say Bigfoot actually even has chlorophyll in their hair and stuff too. So I don't know.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
I'd scream too if I was ugly, weirdo plant with a creepy name.
Yeah, me too.
No joke. Bogarts are creatures from English folklore. I wasn't sure where they came from, but they actually are English folklore. So by her putting that in those movies, basically being it was based in the English setting, was very, very accurate. It is a mysterious and shape-shifting spirit that inhabits moors, marshes, and swamps in northern England, Scotland, and your favorite place, Wales. So your people dealt with the Bogarts.
That's my people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah. Yep. So also known as a Bogard or a bag, these elusive beings are known for their chameleon-like abilities, often assuming various forms to deceive and bewilder unsuspecting humans. In some legend, Bogarts are considered household spirits akin to brownies. I didn't know that. So, I mean, I was really shocked when I was like, these are known to be tied with brownies because brownies are known to be very nice things. Bogarts are like the furthest thing from nice.
Yeah,
So
he
I
looks
was like, man,
grumpy.
yeah,
They
he
look.
definitely woke up on the wrong side of the bed.
Yeah. Yep. Wrong side of the rock.
Heck yeah. Um, so, see, spirits are akin to brownies, engaging in household chores and tasks. However, unlike the friendly and helpful brownies, Bogarts can turn malevolent and if mistreated or not properly rewarded. Instead of being a source of assistance, they may cause havoc and by destroying household items or playing mischievous tricks on occupants of the home. Bogarts are shape-shifting natural nature adds to their enigmatic reputation. They can appear in a wide array of forms, from animals to demons or even poltergeists. That part I didn't know either. And I just did a show the other day on poltergeist. And it's just
You
funny
know,
because I was telling you about that backstage where I showed two videos of poltergeist and a video of a gin haunting and how similar they were. Now you've got the Bogarts you got to throw in there as well.
we know the Bogart actually is. It's starting to sound more like the puka too. Have you ever covered the puka before?
We will
And
hear shortly.
okay,
I actually
well,
got him in there. I
I'll
actually
wait.
got him
I'll
in there.
wait to talk about it then. Okay.
No, you're good. But yo, actually, he's a puka is a type of fae. So I
Hmm.
had to add it. I had to add that in here because I can't leave it out. It's in there. I mean,
Oh
just
yeah.
like a Bogart, I never thought a Bogart or even a Banshee would be a fae, but you study the lore behind them; they are fae creatures. So I was like, I had to add them in this. Um, I forgot where I was at here. Demons. The the veracity allows them to adapt to different situations and confound their victims effectively. Rarely seen in their true form, descriptions of a Bogart are scarce due to their elusive nature. When Bogarts do manifest in the guise of humans, they tend to exhibit more violent tendencies compared to their animal like manifestations. So when they're in their human like form, they're a lot more mean, they're a lot more aggressive, which makes you wonder some of these things like, well, oh man, this so and so took out so and so, but they can't find him. Was it that actual person or was it a Bogart who actually did it? Yes, Pug Woogies. That's another one. Um, so I mean, I found that interesting too because I was like, I never would have pictured that in that aspect. You know, I knew some supernatural entities are known to inhabit bodies and take over bodies. Like people don't understand, demons can't make you do something, but they'll whisper in your ear. And beings we have free will, it's our choice to do what they whisper in your ear or not. So when you're doing that deal and they say, man, a demon made me do it. No, you made yourself do it because you listened to that demon. Hey, Woo,
Hey,
do I see a celebrity on the screen? Yes, you do. Um,
you're silly.
their malevolence further adds to their reputation as a cunning and potentially dangerous being. It is best to approach encounters with Bogarts with caution, as their motives and intentions are often unpredictable. The Bogarts are intriguing and energetic creatures from English folklore known for their shape-shifting abilities and malevolent tendencies. While some may resemble helpful household spirits, oh, never mind, I forgot. I accidentally double did that one. Um, so yeah, so I mean, you know, what was that? J.R. Tolkien, who wrote Harry Potter. She was
That
actually
sounds
very
right.
extremely accurate.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they were very very accurate when it comes to that. So I got your next one that you're
Is that the
excited to
puka?
talk about. That is
I
a
just did a
puka.
show on the puka actually, because I didn't know what the puka was, and my buddy Dr. John Stamey came on the show. He was like, "I want to talk about the puka," and I was, and it. I started looking it up, and the main some of the main like more notable pukas would be like the rabbit out of Donnie Darko. Okay, like an imaginary
Mm-hmm.
friend kind of a thing. And there's a movie from the 1950s called Harvey, where there's a puka as well, and they're all like
Mm-hmm.
rabbits. Okay, but they most usually they're like a shape shifting goblin, and they turn mostly into like a black horse or any kind of black creature, but mostly like a rabbit or I don't know. Rabbits and horses are the main ones, but it could be pretty much
Mm-hmm.
anything.
Yep. Yeah, they're from English folklore as well. Um, their various forms includes horses, rabbits, goats, and humans. Um, it's also known as a puck. They're also known as pucks. So puka is not the only name. Puck is actually another name for them as well, which is interesting because William just said a puckwudgie. They're also
Yeah.
known as a puck.
Well, they actually go back. I mean, even Shakespeare was writing about a puka.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Puck in Midsummer's Night's Dream. There's a fairy, like a fey looking dude, that they called Puck, who could have been like a puckwudgie or a puka of
Mm-hmm.
some sort.
Yeah.
But they're pretty prominent in literature and stuff throughout the centuries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of liken them to the Easter Bunny, like those people that dress up like the Easter Bunny and they put you put our kids on the Easter Bunny's lap, every year, and
Yeah.
yeah, that's
You
it's kind of like an imaginary friend too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and they're also known to be. They use the will-o-wisp. They're also known to use will-o-wisp. Um, has something very common with the puka as well. So that's something else to consider when you're dealing with these as well. Don't worry about the double tap uncut. We know what's going on. Your phone does that thing from time to time, so you're all good, bro. But they're known to use a will-o-wisp to lure people into swamps or ditches and then flee with the light. And this is how they use the will-o-wisp. So when you're finding will-o-wisp, which if I remember correctly, I think puckwuggies are known to be around will-o-wisp as well. I could be wrong. I need to double check that. But you see a lot of similarities between these guys. And so, I mean, that's something to consider as well, is that as well. They're also known as pukas. So you got then which puka means P, not the P-U-C-K-C-A, but P-O-O-K-A. That is another way of how to pronounce their names or say their names or know how to spell it is puka. Puka.
It's spelled a whole bunch of different ways, actually, because these things are they're known all over the world. So it's either P-U-C-A or P-O-O-K-A or however you feel like spelling it.
Yeah, walking, yes, they are. They're long, the size of leprechauns and Tommy knockers.
Hey, Andrew.
If you get a chance, you're in the Springfield, Missouri area, and you're needing a good motorcycle mechanic, hit up my buddy Peanut at Nuts and Bolts Harley Shop. He's not going to do you wrong. He's not extremely high in prices, and he's one hell of a mechanic. So if you need some work done on your motorcycle, go to Nuts and Bolts Harley Shop in Springfield, Missouri, and let Peanut know I said hi. Puka puka. Yeah, Richard. Puka puka. There was something else here, and I'm trying to glance over my notes quickly on him. See, it's known to pranking people. Puka is in some forms is an omen of imminent death. It is believed that during medieval times, a puka would whisk away little children if they were to go near them. So you got yet another fae here that's taken off with little children. This is very common amongst a lot of these fays, and I was kind of talking about that earlier in the show. Once again, even this puka is known to do that as well. Same as leprechauns and a lot of these others. Very similar. Very, very similar.
Yeah, man,
you guys ain't following Jessica. No worries. If you guys ain't following Jessica, my guest tonight, the Cryptid Huntress herself, go to YouTube to the Cryptid Huntress and give her a follow and Tell her I said hi.
Thank you.
You know,
Thank you.
not a
You know,
problem.
I just got a message from my mom. She was like, "You just hit 10,000 subscribers."
Whoop, whoop. Hey, dude, look at
Right?
you.
I'm like, I
Hey,
hit
Larry, how's it
10,000
going?
subscribers. That's crazy. Okay, thank you.
Man, I knew you was close to it last night, man. And I've been getting compliments all day about last night's show. They were talking how we knocked that out of the
Yeah,
park. So I mean that's awesome. You got your 10,000. That is truly
thank
awesome.
you. Thank you. Yeah, it's
Uh,
shocking, but thank you.
man, now I'm growing up too. I went from 309 yesterday morning to 333 now. So I mean I'm popping up for two.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a
I
great
always
number.
told them. I mean,
333.
oh man, when I hit 300, I done a 10 promo code giveaway on my newest book. This came out on audio. So I told everybody if I do 500 and I get to 500, I'm going to give away a couple autographed books. Winner's choice.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I need to do a giveaway
Oh
for
my!
my 10,000, I guess. I don't know. We'll do that this week. I've got Hey, maybe I'll give away some Karen Bigfoot pins and robot grandma
Yeah,
pins and
heck
bumper
yeah.
stickers. I got
You're
robot
absolutely right,
grandma.
William. Go to her. Heck yeah. William, you're absolutely right. Go to
Oh, thank you,
Jessica's
William.
Etsy War Woman Goods and get some of her stuff and her jewelry. She's got some great stuff on there. You
Thank you.
guys will not be disappointed.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that comment. I appreciate that. Now, I always have fun being on with Jessica and having Jessica on with me. We have such a great time. Yeah,
We do.
our morning shows with William was great too. Absolutely,
So
I am
good.
truly blessed to be put in the path of these two fine people right here. I am truly blessed and humbled by it. I mean, these two are some of the greatest people you're going to find out there in the content world, and the fact that we get together and we talk about things is wonderful. We may not always agree on the same thing. But that's what makes us great. Just because we don't agree doesn't mean we can't work together to figure something out. I'm a big believer in that.
All right.
Um,
Thank you. Sweet.
you're welcome. Puka is said to inhabit wild places like remote thickets and glens. A household would leave a plate of food at night for the puka outside their home or yard. In return, it would do chores during the night and protect the property from fire and trespassers. So, um, who was that was asking? I think that was Tim earlier that was asking if they're known to protect people. Pukas are known to do it just as much as they are to harming people as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see this is a very common thing in a lot of lure, a lot of ancient cultures that they leave offerings to these things so they would leave them alone or be helpful to them. Native Americans have done it. I mean, just every single culture around the world has been known to do this. It's a very common practice amongst our ancestors. You guys missed our show this morning, man. Go to William Nighthawk 6630 on YouTube. You missed out. We had a banging show this morning.
It was really good. I was there.
Yeah, you
It's
were.
always good. I always learn something. Every time y'all are together and even separate, if y'all aren't together, I've learned so much, especially from both of y'all, from you and William.
Oh,
Gosh, I've actually consulted with William before, okay, a couple times
mhm.
on some of these cases where I'm going out and doing cryptid investigations where I've never dealt with certain critters and entities, let's just say, out there. And so he gave me some good advice on how to deal with it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's William is a fountain of information, just like you, just like Da Roberts too. I mean, if you go to Da Roberts' podcast channel, he's got some really great information he puts out as well. That's why I love that stuff. And he's an author just like I am. And you can go to Amazon like me and him, and like me, it's E.D. Testerman, him it's Da Roberts, and you can find his stuff. That's why I love talking to you three, because you three have so much knowledge. It's great, and I am truly, when William asked me to help, come on the show and be a co-host, I hopped out on that like a flies on shit. I mean, I had to hop on that. To learn this man's information is phenomenal, and that's why I love doing it.
Oh yeah, yeah. William, I need to get William back on my show. William, please come and join me sometime, for sure. William, you have an open invite. Okay, anytime you want to come. You too, Eric.
Yeah, dude. Anytime you want
Yeah.
me on, you let me know. I'll do it.
Okay.
So yes, Puka would be like a real deal unfriendly version of an Easter bunny. That's why I was laughing when she was talking about that, because I'm like, it kind of does. The Easter bunny we look at kind of does resemble a puka, just a rainbow colored version of a puka.
Yeah. Well, if you look at the two movies that were made about pukas, we've got Donnie Darko, and he is followed around by a really sinister looking person in a bunny suit. Okay, and then the other movie is from the 50s. It's called Harvey, and that guy has a more. It's not so sinister. His is actually like a nice bunny. Okay, so, but it looks like the bunny rabbit, like a Easter bunny, like a person in a suit. And
Oh
they're
yeah.
supposed to be their imaginary friends. Nobody else can see them except for them. So
Oh wow, yeah.
those are pugas.
William says, "Okay, whenever you want."
Oh, thank you, William. Okay, I'm gonna be hitting you up. Okay, thank you.
Uh, so there's something else interesting about this pukas too, and this is something I didn't know. In Old Middle English, the word meant simply demon. In the Elizabethan lore, he was a mischievous brownie-like fairy, also called a Robin Goodfellow or a hobgoblin. So I never really put him in the lines of a hobgoblin. But in your old English, Middle English folklore, he's known as a hobgoblin. Uh, as one of the leading characters in William Shakespeare's Midsummer Night's Dream, Puka boasts of his pranks of changing shapes, misleading travelers at night, spoiling milk, frightening young girls, and tripping vulnerable old dames.
Yeah,
So this
and
kind of stuff.
it also okay. So they also turn into a horse. Okay, they turn into like a dark black horse with like glowing red or orange eyes, I think. And what they'll do is like you don't want them to come by you like if you're walking by yourself at night down the road because it'll scoop you up. You'll end up on its back and it'll take you through. I think they compared it to like the wild hunt. Like when
Mhm.
the spirits or whatever they are come and scoop you up and they take you on a wild ride and like your body is being dragged behind the horse and stuff. Like it's not pleasant. It hurts. Like they're there to hurt you. And that's what the puka does as a horse. And it will take you back home when the sun comes up, but you're going to be beaten and battered and bruised pretty bad. And psychologically tormented, probably too.
Yeah. What you're thinking of House Elf, William, I can't remember what it is. My first show, part one, the fairies, I talk about that Fae that was um, depicted as a house elf. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. No, brownie, actually, yes. Yeah. So yeah, it would be because of brownie. It was a brownie that was considered to be a house elf. Hey, the girl. So yes, beans. That could be. Yeah. Uh, yeah. That's what Jessica was just talking about. Oh wait, hit the wrong one. Sorry. The chat's flying, so I missed it. There we go. That's the one I meant to comment on. Yeah. It looks like a little Frank on. Yep.
Hey, Dan. Yep.
Makes me think there's a lot of fauna in the mental astral that is able to interact with physical and inhabitants enough to be perceived as an imaginary friend or some really good stuff. No worries, Dan. No worries, Dan. You're good, buddy. You're good. Yeah, you gotta say hello to the girl. She's here in the chat. Whoop whoop.
Hey, Maureen and Gus.
Gotta be a freak. Remember, it was the brownie. I had to think about it for a minute, but it was the brownie. I'm trying to get caught up on here. Yeah, brownies. Oh my God, brownies with caramel. Yeah, definitely. We're going to be moving. We got one more left to talk about as soon as I get caught up on these comments here. I'm going to put Robbie Rip Range's information up on there for you guys. If you go to YouTube and follow Robbie Rip Range, he's him and Johnny do phenomenal. Why is my stuff not working? There it goes. Phenomenal work on some of their videos. So give him a like, share, and a follow, and let him know I said hi. So the last one we got to talk about today is silkies. So who in the chat likes mermaids? Yeah.
I like the pretty mermaids, but I think real life mermaids are kind of scary.
Oh God, yes. Some of the stuff I've seen from real life mermaid stuff makes me go, huh. But if people don't realize mermaids are talked about throughout a lot of ancient history. They really are. I mean, so many. Come on, mouse, work for me. So many of our ancient ancestors have depictions, even on cave paintings, of mermaids. So this is something that's steeped throughout our ancestral heritage quite a bit, quite a bit. And that's what I find cool about these silkies. Now, we kind of hit on a little bit this morning on William's show about these silkies, because even though they're mermaid looking, they're known to have a seal-like bottom. In which, when we talked about it, I brought up there's different kinds of mermaids. Look, one good instance, you got sirens. Sirens are a type of mermaid, but they're also known to drag people to their death. So, and then you got the silkies, and you got actual mermaids. All that stuff is way up in there. I just lost my deal. There it is. Do you know about a yoki? Man, that sounds familiar. I know that word from somewhere. A yoki. Yoki. Let me think on that one. That sounds so familiar, but I cannot remember it. Huh. I'll have to look that one up, Dan. That sounds so familiar, but I cannot picture the story behind them. I say have more AG on the time ever so often. Have Eric, Jessica, and William and a couple more. Man, if I can get Jessica, William, and DA Roberts on the show with me, we can do like a Q&A. I think that'd be awesome as hell. I really think.
Yeah, I'm down. That's always fun.
Man. That's like Carrie Pocket Doc Davis from Dark Angel Medical. Like I say, I'm down like 4 flat tires.
Wait, don't forget Robbie. You gotta bring Robbie too, right?
Yeah, we got to bring Robbie on too. Absolutely. I didn't want to leave the Silky picture up for very long for the same reason of the nymphs, because the actual depiction of them could,
she's naked.
Got to worry about a minor. Yeah, they're nakies.
They're naked.
Silkies are a luck-bearing fae. They hold a sway over the fish and other bounties of the sea, lakes, and streams of the forest game. Silkies, unlike pukas, are not really changing their shape. They are shedding a skin. When they shed the skin, they need to hide in it at least. Sorry, thing allergies. So I gotta keep my water next to me. When they shed the skin, they need to hide it. At least it be taken. And the one who has taken it hold of its sway, whoever takes their skin holds sway over them. They hold power over them, so you can control that silky. Actually, I wrote about silkies in Saga Grimson Book 2, Black Death. I found some reports where some silkies in the Thames was luring men into the water and taking them, drowning them to their deaths. So I actually incorporated it in that book, Saga Grimson Book 2, Black Death. Even though it's very few of them, there has been reports of them that have done that.
Are silkies just in the ocean, or can they be in the lakes too? Because I've been covering lake mermaids lately.
Lakes, rivers, streams, oceans, and forest.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, there's a mermaid at Pyramid Lake in Nevada. The spiteful mermaids out there. There's been a report. My buddy Long Island Bigfoot Mike had taken a report of a lake mermaid up in New York recently too. So they're out there.
I would like. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, North Carolina too. North Carolina is known to have mermaids in the rivers, river mermaids.
They could be silkies. I mean, your typical mermaid that we think of when it comes to mermaid actually has fish scale like lower halves, whereas silkies is more seal like. I believe.
Different, huh?
Yeah, They are different. But sirens, I believe, have fish scale-like bottoms too. I can't remember on them off the top of my head. I know the actual mermaids do, and the mermen. Silkies are known for having the silk bottoms. I want to say sirens are fishy bottoms too, if memory serves me correctly.
Fishy bottoms?
Fishy bottom. Ooh, that smell.
Man.
Thank you. He's my little buddy. Yeah.
God. That's funny.
Can't wait to get your books, my friend. Bought quite a few this last month, so I've got to give no for it. I appreciate it. Let me know what you think, Dan. I love writing. I'm just about finished. I've got 2 pages left, and I'll be finished with my latest one. Then I got to send it out for final editing, so I'm going to have that finished probably tonight or tomorrow. Finish writing and my edit, then I'll send it out to my brother who does the final editing for me, and then we'll get it out there to everybody. Ed, watch Delicious in Dungeon. It's a great cartoon. I'll have to look that up, Dan. I'll have to look that up, buddy. So if you take a silky skin, you'll hold power. So you remember the movies where in the old tales of mermaids shedding their skin? That's actually silkies.
Really?
So silkies can shed their skin. They have to hide it because if it's taken, whoever takes it has the power over them, and they can walk on land. Hence, ocean, lakes, rivers, streams, and forest. They can actually walk on land.
This is new to me. I don't know a whole lot about. I'm learning about silkies for the first time right now. Wow,
they're wonderful creatures.
That's
they really
cool.
are. But like I said, there has been reports of them luring men into rivers and drowning them in England. Now, could that be a misidentification? Absolutely could. But I took them encounters, and that's why I put it in that book.
That's cool.
And Grimson has to go and fight them. Actually, Grimson does an Odyssey in Saga Grimson Book 2. Basically a Norse-style Odyssey in England. Trying to get over to the last dude. During the time without their skin, they are literally out of their element. Terrified, although called to their home, a silky will die of a broken heart if they cannot return. So if you take their skin and you don't give it back to them, eventually they'll die of a broken heart because they want to belong in the water. And that's why now in Saga Grimson Book 2, I have him transforming as a beautiful young virgin that's luring the men in, and then under the water they changed to something more different, a lot more hideous, and that's how they are in that book because that was how the encounters I found were. But in all actuality, they can transform from half human, half seal to human to walk in the forest, but they need to return home or they'll die. Yeah, they are. If you guys haven't already, please hit that like, subscribe, and share button. Let's build this wonderful universe. I'm growing, and I appreciate every single one of you. Let's keep this going, man. Let's make this show a phenomenal show. You know, I can't get to the rock star level that Jessica's at, but I'll try to. I'll sneak on the background. It's like I can see you. I see the light.
You'll be there soon. You'll be there soon. Hey, I'm still shocked. I'm looking down, just looked at my phone. I'm like, I got 10,000 subscribers today. What the heck?
You got to do something special. Wild. You definitely got to do something.
That's wild. I'll do something. Yeah, this week. We'll do a giveaway. I'll figure something out. Yeah, we're gonna celebrate.
This is actually funny. Yeah, you know who Jesus Payon Jr. is, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
The actor.
Yeah, he's been on my show several times. Oh, yeah, he was on my show a lot last year. Yeah, I haven't talked to him in a while, but yeah, he was on my show a bunch. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to go to New Mexico to see him twice because I'm going to be a guest speaker at one of his conferences, and he's going to be doing a documentary where I'm one of the investigators on his documentary. This dude has got some hella good of information, though. I love this man to death. His book, have you seen his book yet, Baking Bad? It's a recipe how he lost weight. He almost died on set. I think it was 2 Guns. He almost died on the set of 2 Guns. Because his weight and his diabetes, he almost went into a diabetic coma. So him and his wife wrote a book called Baking Bad, and I've got it. Oh my God, you have to read that book.
That's awesome. Good for him. I'm proud of him, man. Like I said, I hadn't talked to him in a long time, but yeah, he was a wealth of knowledge, and came on the show. He actually opened me up to the hidden history behind our timelines being wrong and stuff like that, and the old world's fairs and stuff. Like, it really took me down a big rabbit hole, and set the foundation for a lot of the stuff, a lot of the shows I've done today, actually, over the past year.
Oh man.
Yeah.
You seen his demons coming out of his floor of his home after him? I mean, I've got them videos. We talked about that on my show. I've had him on my show a couple times too. In fact, I'm getting ready to have him on the show again here before too long. We're just trying to work out the time frame. I will. We're just kind of working out the logistics. It may have to be a special show, not one of my normal ones, but I want to have him back on again. Of course, we're going to be talking about paranormal in New Mexico.
Awesome. Yeah. Ask him about Las Vegas too. He's got some cool Vegas stories.
Oh, dude, the zombie ones? Oh my God. Yeah, the zombies in Vegas. Oh, yeah. Actually, he's the one that gave me the pictures to Gilgamesh's tomb, and the actual remains of Gilgamesh. I have them on my phone. He's the one that was able to get them to me.
Yeah.
Take care, William. Much love to you, my brother.
Bye, William. And thank you, Dan. And thank you, Maureen. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. See you, William. I'll be in touch, William.
Heck yeah. William's a rock star, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Silkies have the form of seals, otters, bears, or badgers. They are very gentle spirits and are not prone to anger or wishing to fight. When out of their skin, they are as weak as humans and have no animal abilities. They're unable to swim if they are they are unable to swim if they are water silky and become distressed in the caught out in the woods. They can't swim. They have to actually have their skins on to be able to swim. Silkies and become never mind. Not, unless love is involved and a family is made, Silkies prefer their freedom. Often, once a family has started and the child is born, the Silky will return to their skin and leave. Silky offsprings are happy children and never falling to illness. Are well behaved, although they are born human, and while they will have a love of their parents' heritage, they are not Silkies. So it's another type of Fae that's known to marry humans.
They do marry humans. Interesting.
Yeah. Yep. They're known to start families with them.
I'm gonna have to look at some pictures.
Oh, dude! I mean, these things are so cool.
Oh yeah.
I never actually considered them a Fae. I always thought they were a type of mermaid, but when you study Fae lore, Silkies are in there, and I can see why, because they, unlike mermaids, they can be in the water and on land.
Wow, that gives whole new meaning to Hawaiian Silky. There's some hair shampoo or something called Hawaiian Silky. I remember.
Oh yes, actually there is.
Okay. Probably no relation, by the way. Just beautiful silky Hawaiian hair. Yeah. But now I'm like, well, maybe they were Silkies that they named that after.
It could be. I mean,
could be.
I can't say no.
Are you sure they're seals, or could they be like manatee bottoms? I'm just kidding.
That could be. I mean, I know that's mainstream science will tell you, oh, mermaids are just manatees. They just didn't know the difference, and they were hard up because they're at sea for a long time. Blah blah blah. Yeah, you're full of crap. Did Nephilim make centaurs? Centaurs are a totally different creature, Dan. Nephilim are the offspring of the fallen angels and humans. Centaurs are a Fae. They are a totally different creature. I heard that a giant DNA is in a binding agent that mixes species and got the form the half Behringer report. John Bell, another legend. I've heard some mixture of giant DNA, and usually it's tied to the Anunnaki. A lot of people come across thinking that the Nephilim are giants. Nephilim were a type of giants. You actually study giants. There's different kinds, and there was giants before the Nephilim, which a lot of them were killed out there in the Great Flood. Not all giants had died, though. If you actually study a lot of ancient history, you'll learn that some of these giants still survive, which ties very well in Norse mythology as well. In Norse mythology, when Odin and his brothers killed Ymir and created the 9 realms, his blood turned into the ocean, washed away the giants and killed them. Giants came from the birth of Ymir. Ymir had intercourse with himself, basically, and they came from his legs or his feet. I can't remember. Giants spawned from his legs or his feet and became giants. And then, Odin's father, Bor, married a giant and created Odin and his brothers and all them. Odin and his brothers got tired of just being in Muspelheim and Muspelheim, and therefore killed Ymir, created the 9 realms. Midgard is what we live on today, is the skull of Ymir. The clouds are his brains. His hairs are the grass and the trees of the land. The oceans is his blood. So whenever his blood is spilt and flooded and killed most of the giants, 2 giants, a husband and a wife, survived by floating on wooden crates, and therefore restarted the giant race. So if you study all these ancient cultures, everything is very similar all down them lines.
Wow. Yeah, see, I always learn something. Every time I listen to you, I learn something.
Cool. I love history. Comes to Mexico, guys. You'll chase after the chupacabras, and if we can't find a thing, we'll find a place that sells tacos and go. That goes.
I'm there. Count me in.
Yeah. Be careful them street tacos.
Right.
If you guys have an encounter you want me to do a video on, email me at cryptidmythological@gmail.com. I love putting your guys' stories out there. If you want to be anonymous, I will keep you anonymous. I've done a couple story videos on encounters already. This is why I do this stuff. I would love to share your encounters. True, the old world was amazing and so strange compared to today. Yeah, I mean, there's reminiscences of the old world all over. A lot of things that they call plateaus ain't actually plateaus. They're tree stumps. If you actually look at them, they have tree rings. You can see the tree barks. You can see the roots. They just mainstream science and mainstream archaeology will tell you, oh, it's just this kind of formation created by the glacier period. BS. They're trees. Hence why you can have giants as small as called cloud eaters, because they had oxygen. It was so pure back then. You didn't need as much of it to breathe to survive if you lived longer.
Yeah, those are trees. I'm team stump. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm team stump. I think those are a bunch of stumps. But I mean, to have stumps that big, there had to have been people that big to cut them down, right?
Well, they got axes in either Mexico or New Mexico that's left on the stump that was petrified, and it shows you how big that axe is compared to that tree. It's just like what we have nowadays. So, I mean, like I said, there was giants known as cloud eaters. They were miles and miles tall that they were so tall their heads were in the clouds.
I mean, we're the ant people today. We're little ants compared to them.
Yeah. I get a kick out of Roger from Mud Fossil University. He likes to tell you that, dinosaurs and stuff like that were like little parasites on the skins of some of these giants. Yeah. If you actually look at the size of them and some of the sizes on these giants, that kind of makes sense. I'm not saying it's true, but it actually does make a lot of sense.
Every time I'd look at, like today I was at the grocery store and they had Himalayan salt, and all I could think of was, that's the fat off of a giant. Himalayan.
Oh, yeah. I love Himalayan salt too. And I needed salt the other day, and I didn't buy Himalayan. I always buy Himalayan because every time I see that now, I think about that because I go, crap, you're right.
It's delicious, but are we eating giants? Oh, I don't know.
Heck yeah, man. I'm down like 4 flat tires if I ever get the money and the time. I'm getting ready to have surgery February 5th. I'm going to have my first surgery on my right wrist and right elbow. So I've not been going anywhere, and I've been trying to save my time up because I don't want to go. I don't want to lose my home. So I was like, I got to build time back up. I'm missing a lot of chat, you guys. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get caught up. If I miss you guys, I apologize. I really do. I'm trying to hit these up. I'm trying to answer a few of them here and there. Um, but I want to make sure all you guys get seen on here. You'll bring Gus. Ah, crap. Come on, thing, work for me. You'll bring Gus. Heck yeah. Damn, this thing keeps jumping around on me and I keep missing my stuff. Okay. Let me get down here. But yeah, Himalayan salt, man, I'm a real big fan of it. I love it. But the more I look at it, and then I go, that is definitely the remain. So then that brings me to the theory: are they making Himalayan salt to hide the fact of giants? Because I've done
yeah, maybe.
I've done a couple shows that you look at mountains and it's literally people, giants that have laid down and petrified. And this is where they're digging up that Himalayan salt. So the whole reason for making Himalayan salt is that to hide the evidence of these giants because the information is getting out there.
I mean, I have multiple Himalayan salts in my room right now. There's one right here behind me. There's one right there, literally at my shoulder.
Oh, okay. Man, the glowing one?
The glowing one. That's Himalayan. That is a giant's armpit or something. Who knows? It's a little back fat there. I don't know. Is it fat or is it skin? I think it's supposed to be the fat.
It's fat.
Salty.
It's fat and muscle. Fat and muscle is what it is. Perfect, Dan. I can't wait to get it, buddy. Yeah, it's the fat and muscle. So I've done shows on here. Like I've done 3 or 4 shows about giants. I've done stone giants and stuff like that. And it's not just humans; it's animals and stuff that you can travel this world. You can find the petrified remains. So if you actually study the actual true the Great Flood stuff, not just in Christianity and Judaism, but it's also in ancient Sumerian. You study this, the god or gods, whichever culture it is that's talking about it, will tell you they were displeased with the giants and what the giants were doing, because the giants was eating everything in sight and then leaving nothing for mankind. So the god or gods got displeased and caused the flood to kill the giants. And then when the settlement settled on top of them, they petrified. And that's why you have these mountains and hills and all this other stuff that looks like giants. Was because that was what the Great Flood was for, is to kill these giants off. If you actually listen carefully enough and study Christ enough in Christianity and Judaism, it says the same thing.
Man, I tell you what. Yeah, I mean, I also have always wondered. I've wondered if some of these petrified giants weren't petrified by some form of alien technology too. Because it only stems from that Russian UFO incident where the soldiers were all turned to stone.
Oh yeah.
After they shot down a UFO with a missile. Yeah, they said that after the UFO crash, some aliens or some kind of beings got out of it and formed into an orb. And as they did, an energy got shot out. And it turned all 23 of those 25 soldiers to stone. The two that didn't get turned to stone, hid behind something. And then this just came out in like a KGB CIA unclassified or declassified document. So who's to say? I mean, they were turned to literal limestone, and that's what it says in the report. Their autopsy report said limestone. Yeah.
Dan actually talked about that cave in one of my giant episodes I did on YouTube. It literally look, you can even see the remains of a baby on her inner thigh.
There's a lot of I have a friend, Jock Doubleday. He's been on my show. I met him at the Journey to Truth conference, and he became I consider him a good friend, right? He goes around. He spent time at the Bosnian pyramids, working on them and volunteering and stuff. And he had a fascination with looking at. I mean, finding caves that are basically private parts, like what you just said, Dan, all over the world. And it's like you go into a cave, but it's actually a private part that you're walking into.
Oh yeah. That's that wasn't that many shows ago I did that. I mean, because I've done like 3 or 4 different giant shows. You know, some of them are giants, some of them are stone giants. Actually, one of the shows Jesus Payon Jr. was on when we were talking about these giants. But yeah, I actually show that cave.
There's a
I
bunch
actually
of
show
them.
that cave because it's real. I mean, so this stuff is out there for you to find. Like I was sending you pictures from Google Earth of dragons, and you're like, "Oh cow, man!" Yeah, I was like, "Yeah, you can actually go on here and find this stuff. I mean, you can do it with giants, you can do it with dragons, you can do it with all that stuff."
I've seen a
Um,
dragon, a petrified dragon. I think. I mean, it's in Alabama when I was on that dogman hunt. I've got pictures of it.
mhm,
It's better to see it in person because it was covered up with so many leaves and stuff, but you could see it there.
mhm. Oh yeah, and that's man. I was trying to because you didn't give me the exact coordinates you was going to, so I could try to
Oh, I
zoom in on it. So I
forgot.
was kind of roughly scanning that area,
Yeah.
and a lot of tree foliage. So I was like, man, I can't pinpoint it. I just spend days and days trying to pinpoint that. Unless it's under that tree foliage, then I wouldn't be able to do it. Where I
I'll holler
mentioned
at
two
you.
factions of soldiers getting into a paralyzed state mid battle, and that mentioned that they could been energy messing with their battle things. Yeah, energy weapons are used all the time. From that alien deal that Jessica was just talking about, they created what's called the Medusa Project, and it's the same concept. They kind of was able to mimic the beams of those aliens and actually turn people into stone. It's called the Medusa Project.
There's Medusa technology on airplanes right now, and it says that it's for surveillance. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I was pretty sure when I was researching it that there was some sort of program where they have the technology to turn people to stone. Of course they do. They reverse engineer everything, don't they? So
Okay. No problem, Roxanne. Thank you, sweetheart. Everybody give a shout out to Roxanne. She's a top notch mod. I'm truly blessed to have her as my mod. She's one of my OGs. Yeah, no, I mean this and all this stuff is out there, so it's amazing. It's amazing if you actually study history, what you can look up and find. Truly, that's why I love it. Sadly, I spend a whole lot of time sitting on this deck on the computer looking stuff up to the point that I get so burnt out that I got to step away for about a week because I'm like, okay, man, my brain is fried because I'm not only researching this stuff, but I'm also keeping up with current events that's behind the scenes that people don't know. Which I've got to get a show put together on my Rumble, because I do a current event show on Rumble because I talk more freely there. So I got to get me and Williams getting ready to get a show put up. I haven't done one in a while to get people caught up in some of the current events that's happening behind the scenes. In fact, when a certain deal happened to a certain Mr. T not too long ago, Mr. PT himself, I was live when that happened, and I started talking about it, went crap. So I shot over to Rumble. We stopped finished my live, went over to Rumble because I was looking at it at the military perspective and I was calling out exactly what's happening. And well, guess what's coming out in the studies now? What I said was what actually was happening.
yeah.
So
Oh
like
yeah.
they got frozen or something, and able to use their military vehicles. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of weaponry out there like that that they're using. EMPs, electric weapons, and infrasound and stuff like that. That's disabling not only people but equipment as well. There's a lot more technology that the military's using and the government has, and they just don't let you know.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, Dan. Absolutely.
It's gone nuts.
Yeah.
Yes. People are going
So,
nuts for sure. That's why you need a dark angel medical kit and
hell yeah.
something to protect yourself everywhere you go.
Oh yeah.
Even if it's tickets to the gun show, if y'all know what I mean. Work
Heck
out,
yeah,
get your
man.
muscles up, learn how to throw a punch. Okay.
Uh-oh. Why is my oldest texting me? Give me 1 second. My oldest texted me. Uh, she's in college, so she's a little homesick.
No.
So we were FaceTiming each other quite a bit, and she just texted me, "You busy?" I said, "Give me a minute. I'm live." So we'll go ahead and wrap it up because I got to see, make sure she's okay. Um, at the end of every show, I had a poem that I wrote. Um, you do actually have a question here from. Oh my gosh, this thing jumped on me
I
again.
see it.
From
What's up,
Woo
Woo
Rider.
Rider?
What is Jessica Jones' number one motivation to keep her research going?
I mean, I'm having a blast. That's what's keeping my research going. I'm just having fun. Just because every time I'm out in the field and I'm researching, even just like researching for my shows and stuff, I always learn something new, and I just never want to stop learning. And one thing leads to another. So it's like everything just keeps snowballing in my life in a good way. In a good way. So that's my motivation. It's just I'm having fun, and I get to share what I know with y'all, and that's
Yep.
fun.
Oh
Thank you
yeah.
for asking.
Oh yeah, man. See, similar do perhaps heard one of the used a scorch to ashes a community of alleged ET community in the California area. I don't recall the name of the community nor the name. I think I've heard something on that, but I don't want to comment because I'm not 100% sure. But I think I have heard something about that. Um, of the ET race, there was a living there, cloaking as human beings. That's a very common deal there. The place got burnt down to the ground, and dew were used, and probably there's some type of dew that would turn. Well, I mean, they're done it in California. Or never mind, they did it in Hawaii and some other places, but I won't get too far on that. That's going to be a rumble chat. Uh, yeah, no kidding, Dan. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Ida says that's very interesting, Jessica.
Aw, thank you. I appreciate it, Ida.
Um, so this is a poem that I've wrote, and I play this at the end of every Sunday night show. I read this. I've been meaning to change it for a long time. I just haven't got around to do it because I kind of like how it is. This is how it goes. There comes a time when the warrior falls. They leave this realm and be missed by all. Raise a glass and keep them in your heart. They have kept this realm safe and performed their part. Look to your veterans, your active duty, your EMTs, and the blue line. What they do or have done was walk that fine line. When the demon comes calling on your soul, they will be there to save us all. Hold them in your prayers, for they are deserving. They all have served or are serving. So keep all them people in your thoughts and prayers. Um, I'm very I'm a vet. 13 years, 4 deployments, 2 ex-wives later. I hung my boots up. Um, I had a lot of good times, a lot of bad times being a veteran. Learned a lot of stuff being a veteran. I'm very big on that. Uh, very, very big. And that's why one of my merch lines on my Teespring is an actual veteran merch line, which I got to add some more stuff to it. But keep them in your prayers. Thank a veteran for what they do. I do that, and I'm a veteran. I'll walk up to an older one, and I'll tell him, thank you for serving, because without you, I could not serve. Um, so keep them in your prayers. Keep them in your thoughts. Jessica, thank you so much for coming on today. It's always a pleasure to be on a live with you. Do you have any parting words you have for these people tonight?
Well, thank you, and thank you for your service, Eric.
Uh,
It's an honor to be here and to get to hang out with you. Like I said, I always learn something when I'm hanging out with you, just watching your shows, you and
Heck yeah.
William too. And yeah, no, I just want to thank everybody for listening in tonight and being here. And I see a bunch of my crowd in here, but my crowd's your crowd. Okay, so
Heck yeah.
I'm super
We're all
excited.
big fans.
Oh yeah, and I want to thank everybody. Yeah, we hit over on my channel today. We hit 10,000 subscribers, so that's kind of a milestone, big deal. And so I want to thank everybody for that. And yeah, just everybody, please stay safe out there. We're living in really strange, wild times, and just always keep your head on a swivel and stay safe out there. And yeah, and just never stop searching and dreaming and just enjoying life. Okay, don't live in fear. We talk about some weird stuff, but we're just informing everyone of what's out there because I've seen some stuff. Okay, and that's what I do. That's what I do. I'm a Bigfoot field researcher, and so I know the dangers. I know things are out there, but I know that I'm still here, and I've been in some sticky situations. Okay, with some cryptids and stuff. So I hope y'all enjoyed it, and thank you again for having me, Eric. It's always fun.
Oh, man. Thank you so much, man. You're always a special guest, and you've always got an open invite to come on anytime. I love
Thank you.
different points of view on things because that's the only way we learn. We only learn if we can't learn if we're one sided. We have to be multiple sided to learn something. It's like I always say, the Native Americans used to sit around something in a circle, and then when they sat there, they had a different view of that subject. Then they would take a break, get up, come back in, and sit in a different location where they'd have a different view on that. That's how you learn, and we need to do that in this field of research that we do. We need to do that as well. So
I agree.
Y'all, thank
Yeah.
you for thank you guys for coming in today. To my new subscribers, thank you so much. I'm truly humbled and thank you for every single one of you guys. I'm going to be getting more stuff out there on my Patreon, my Rumble, my X, even my TikTok. I've just been pretty slammed here with stuff to do, so I'm way far behind. I have added a couple things to some of those on my Patreon. I've added a couple more things to my Rumble and some other stuff, so I am trying to get things out there. I'll be having some more short videos dropped of my from my game cam footages. I've got one made, but it's not downloading for some reason, so I got to play with it. So there should be some of those being dropped soon on my YouTube as well. So until next time, you guys, thank you so much. Peace, love, and blessings to you all. And remember, don't take what I say for granted. Take it with a grain of salt. Do your own research. Build your own hypothesis or opinion, or build upon my own. And with that being said, you guys, until next time, thank you so much.
Bye, y'all.